Boom, guys, welcome on today's Bold Effect podcast episode. I'm your host, Mamadou Diallo, and I'm back at it with the coffee right next to me. Told you guys, I'm a coffee addict. 2 p.m., worked all morning, just finished working out, and after this video, I'm going to have me some lunch. But I hope you are having a fantastic day. Today is more of a question, right? I have a question for the people that says I want to quit my 9 to 5, I want to escape the rat race. I want to escape the matrix, right? Like the famous word, quote right now, the famous term, sorry. Do you do you really want to quit your 9 to 5? Are you sure? Have you actually sat down and thought about what entrepreneurship look like? Because I feel like we have this idea, which I did probably about 3, 4 years ago, that this entrepreneurship thing, owning your own business, creating your own LLC is sexy. I had a 9 to 5. I used to be a commercial agent in Europe, in Belgium, for the Belgium National Railway companies. If you traveled in Belgium and ever took a high speed train all over Europe, whether you're going to Germany, Italy, Amsterdam, I was a commercial agent. And I was a badass at it, right? Sold my way into that job, didn't even deserve it, but that's another story for another day. But I really enjoyed the job, meaning like what I was learning, the skills, right? My first year, my first 12 months, I was so good. Not only because of I'm always on time, my energy, I'm always enthusiastic, I take care of the customer, my presence, my manager used to love my presence. Like we had these uniforms where when they gave it to me, right, I went to a tailor and he made it like tailor fit. So when you saw me, I was always well attired, right? My shoes always clean, my clothes is not all over the place. And the first year they put me in their magazine for that and my attitude and how I would take care of the customer. So I used to love my job, but I was obsessed. When I say obsessed, obsessed with the idea of quitting, not quitting, but starting something on the side. Starting at the time, I didn't even know really what I want. I was just exploring few things. I was trying, I was researching. But one thing for sure. So it was from Monday to Friday. And if I wanted bonuses at the end of the month, guess what? I take extra hours on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then they will hand me an envelope every single month for my bonuses, right? So I'm essentially trading time for money. My problem is this. After 1 year, my second year, I started getting burnt out completely. Not because the job is not good, not because I didn't like the job or what I was learning, communications, dealing with multiple different people, right? That's not it. The thing is, I was always looking for something else. What else can I do? I was always researching. So even at my office, at my desk, when there's no customer, so we would have like the office is like an open office, right? They started this open office concept. So you always have one person, one colleague on your right, and one colleague on your left. And each one of those people, they'll always see me going online looking for things like flipping cars, which I actually done for a minute. I'll be looking for wedding halls to rent, looking into the business. I'll be looking for, how do you call it, how to wrap cars, which is actually a business also that I did start and failed. So I've never been the guy that, hey, I just go to my work from Monday to Friday, 9 5, and then I go home and watch Netflix, which actually used to annoy the heck out of my colleagues and my ex-wife as well, right? The reason being is because that job in Belgium, if you have it, you actually have a government job, guaranteed, lot of benefits. It's really, really, really tough for them to fire you. Even if you make a huge mistake. We had managers, quote unquote managers, complete bums, um, that have been in that company for over 3 years, and the company was still trying to fire them because the European system is very different than the US system, right? There are certain organizations that kind of like, protects, quote unquote, the lazy employee. They protect you. You can slip in, you can call in the morning and say, I have the headache all day long, work one. Anyway, that's another story for that's one of the reasons why I left Europe. I always felt out of space. I always felt like I didn't belong. I always felt like, man, like just something here, like the thinking is too small, no ambition. People just see the day, day by day. People just want to work 2 hours, then have an 8 hour coffee break. Just was never me. And so my colleagues, they will always ask me, Mamadou, right? Now, my full name is Mamadou Lamine Diallo. So in Belgium, they wouldn't say Mamadou, but they would say Lamine, right? Because in Europe, they don't address you with your first name, they address you with your middle name, right? I mean, why do you always look at, because I'll annoy them, right? Like, oh, look at this car. Oh, look at what I found. Oh, did you know if you rent a hall, you can make this, make that? You can go fact check it. They will tell you. If you ever go to Belgium and you go to one of those offices to buy a train ticket, ask them, hey, did you know a guy named, especially if it's Brussels North or Brussels South or Brussels Central. Those were my main three offices that I used to work at a lot, right? Anyway, with that being said, I used to annoy the heck out of them. So they would ask me, man, we have a government job. You can't be fired. The hours are pretty flexible, 3 a.m. No, was it 6 a.m. to 3 p.m.? Or you start at 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Weekends you're off. If you don't want to come, just shut your phone off. And this, lobbying back companies will protect you. Nobody can fire you anyway. It's a government job. Plus, you dress well. You in this, suit and tie, quote unquote. Got a great uniform. You got free train tickets. Doesn't matter where I'm going in Europe or even locally, nationally in Belgium. My tickets are free first class, right? So I used to travel a lot using the high-speed trains, right? That was great. I really enjoyed that. That was fun. I actually love trains more than planes. I find them more comfortable, really. You have a lot of space. You can sit your computer. You can walk around. It's very spacious. Like freaking planes, if you're not in a jet or a first class, it just looks like a bus, man. Looks like this Greyhounds that you take from Philly to freaking New York. Let me get another sip of coffee. So anyway, but guys, I was obsessed to the point where I was annoying to everybody around me. My older brothers always, hey, what can we do back home in Africa? Blah, 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 blah. We actually started a poultry farm and car flipping business in Africa. The poultry farm failed miserably. If there is one business I will tell you guys to stay away from, it is poultry farm to sell the eggs. Holy moly, what a sensitive business. What a sensitive business. But anyway, we love the trial and error. My point is, I was obsessed. Are you obsessed? Are you really obsessed at quitting your 9 to 5? Or you're just wishing and hoping that if you quit, then you will make passive income. Then life will be easy. Because I can tell you this, I thought I was working hard at my 9 to 5. Little did I know, because when I discovered real estate wholesaling, which is what I started my real estate journey with, right? My gateway, my entry was real estate wholesaling, and then I started taking down properties. So now I focus more on taking down properties, right? Because I wanted the cash flow. I didn't want to create another rat race. That's another story for another day. But with that being said, I thought I was working hard. Waking up at 6, finishing at 3, doing my research. But in the weekend, I still go out, hang out with the friends. We still do like barbecue at home. Back then, I used to live with like 2 or 3 friends of mine. Parties, the whatever. Like I used to think I'm working hard, working freaking 8 hours a day. Until I decided to quit my 9 to 5. After I discovered wholesaling real estate, I was at my 9 to 5 doing the same research that I was annoying my colleagues with. That's how I stumbled on the video on YouTube. Completely changed my life. Another story for another day. But what's the point? The point is, when I discovered it, I was like, holy moly, I'm going to try and see. I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to make $10,000 a month and then I'm going to retire. I know. Right now, you're probably thinking that way, or you've thought that way. Then reality kicked in, right? But when I started my true entrepreneurial journey, because everything else was trial and error, and I didn't even know what a business actually meant. It was not businesses, it was work. Like the wrapping car business that I used to own with one of my friends in Brussels, man, we would work our backs off wrapping these cars, man. Backs up so hard. You can't automate it, right? So you're in the front of the car, leaning in all day long, 8 hours, just putting this vinyl paint. I love the result, but that shit was hard, man. So I'll go home at like freaking 12 at night, exhausted. But when I started my entrepreneurial journey in terms of the real estate, When I started, then I realized, oh gosh, I have to sit down. I have to sit down and make these calls 7, 8, 9 hours straight to harness my skills, to find a lead. Man, I have to go through freaking 101 rejections for one of those to end up being a lead, then relentlessly follow up on that lead to become a deal, then relentlessly follow up on that deal for that to become a check that hits my account. Holy moly. I really, really soon realized that the weekends party is done. Saturdays is no more Saturdays. I don't even track the days. It's endless hours. I don't like this office right here. My current woman, she hates it. This is our enemy right here because I don't count the hours. I don't count the days. I don't wake up thinking, oh, today's Tuesday. Every day feels the same. It's 11, 12 hours straight, non-stop. Doesn't matter what you're working on, especially when you're on the come up. And the more you make it, the more you have bigger goals, right? So are you sure you want this entrepreneurial journey? Like, did you actually sit down and ask yourself, have you ever talked to somebody who actually went through the whole journey, made it, and told you what it really looks like? Because I tell you, it's boredom, it's hard work, it's boredom, it's hard work, endless hours, lot of sacrifice. Forget about balance. Put it out of the window. It's not balance, it's integration. Integration, you have to integrate everything. You have to integrate family, business, spirituality, everything. You cannot balance it, especially when you're in the come up. You cannot balance it. You cannot afford every single Saturday to be at a party. You cannot afford to talk to those friends that when they talk to you, you get, hikes of dopamine hits because all they're talking to you about is partying, girls, and bottles, popping bottles. Whatever the case may be. But I'm just saying, have you actually considered that maybe your 9 to 5 is a superpower and it is a blessing? Because if you really want it, number one, if you're not obsessed, if you're at your 9 to 5, and we know most people that have 9 to 5s actually barely works 4 hours. The rest of the hours, what are you doing? Scrolling on Instagram, trying to text that girl or that guy, finding a new restaurant you can try this weekend with your little pennies, whatever the case may be. But you're definitely not working 8 hours. Man, I used to be bored at my office. Like, it would be so busy from like 6 a.m. to 10, but from 11 to 1 p.m., chill. I'll be on the computer just doing research. I was obsessed by finding something on the side and quitting because I knew there's something in me. There is a fire in me. There is no way in my life I'm living my life where another adult decide when I take vacation. Another adult decide when I see my family. Not only that, I have passions, man. I have ambitions and I have goals in life and I have a purpose. And for me, in order for me to step into that purpose and even find what it is first, I gotta get time freedom. And if I don't have time freedom, I'm stuck at a 9 to 5. Guess what? Not gonna happen. So it's the time freedom. It's not really about the money. But your 9 to 5, there's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5. If you're really great at it, if you're invaluable, if you're an asset to your company, if something like the COVID-19, for example, if you were a believer in that, if it came back, right? If it came back, will your job fire you first? Like, are you valuable enough for your job to keep you? Or will you be the first one to go? Because I guarantee you at my 9 to 5, I was one of those that they would have kept. Guaranteed. Right? So your job is actually your superpower. I tell newbies not newbies, but like people that have 9 to 5s making like 80,000 to 100 and over, like, why don't you go harder at your 9 to 5? Why don't you take extra hours, make more money and invest in real estate deals? Once you invest like 3, 4, 5, whatever, you quit your 9 to 5 at that point if you really don't like it. But you gotta ask yourself the question, are you ready to do the work that it requires when it comes to entrepreneurship? Are you ready to do the sacrifices? Are you ready to put in the endless working hours? Are you ready for the criticism? Are you ready for your family sometimes hate you because on Saturday, shit gotta be done. The restaurant gotta wait a little bit. Doesn't mean all the time, but sometimes. Are you sure you're ready for the smoke? And another thing is, if you're really not obsessed, if you're not constantly looking for something, when I say actually looking, like looking, actually trying. Every single research I've done back then at my 9 to 5, I actually tried it. I wasn't just sitting there and just doing like mental masturbation. I tried those businesses, they just failed. If you're not, then maybe you're happy with your 9 to 5, which is nothing wrong with it. Maybe you should keep it, go harder, make more money at that 9 to 5, because I guarantee you right now with inflation and the cost of freaking gas and bread, holy moly. I really hope you're not making somewhere around like $50,000 a year, maybe even 60. Like you cannot survive. So are you sure? So today's episode was more of a question to you 9 to 5ers, to you that want to escape the matrix. Are you sure you want to escape the matrix for a bigger matrix? Ah. Because when you think about it, life is really just a big old matrix, right? It's either you're controlled by a 9 to 5, or you're controlled by a government, or you're controlled by your parents, or you're controlled by money, or you're controlled by your political beliefs, or you're controlled by your spiritual beliefs, or you're controlled by your ego beliefs. Whatever, it's like there's no such thing as how we think about freedom. I just do whatever I want. All right, guys. So answer the question, leave a comment, be sure to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, look out for a new episode on the Bold Effect podcast every single day. This is where I come and be myself and talk about topics that I'm passionate about, share it with you, share my journey, and also ask you questions like today. So put it down there. Put it in the comments. Hit that little, that little thumb up. Hit it. Come on, man. Don't be greedy. Hit it. Like, subscribe so you don't miss out when I put out new content. Let me know if you got any value out of this video, and let me know if you're truly obsessed, because you see the boom that I say all the time. It's right here. It's right here. This stands for bold, obsess, ongoing mindset, right? Fail forward, and then M, mindset, because the right mindset equal money, equal moolah, equal pesos. All right, I'm gonna hit you guys with a dance. When I used to go party, I used to do the doogie a lot. All right, guys. Until next time, stay bold and be bold. Peace.